hand it over to Chad and let him.
Well, guys, thanks for coming. You all have options, so you get a free lunch, so that's always a bonus. I'm going to start with a little bit of statistics. Now, since everyone here is my age or older, minus a few people, I look at 1982. I was 14 years old. So in 1982, the adult population in the United States, we had 21% of our adult population was overweight, 8% was obese. Just think of that, 1982, so it's 30 years ago. Childhood overweight was 10%, obesity was 3%. The reason I give that to you is because it's very pointed to what we do and what Joan does at Sunspot. The adult population, 30 years later, 61% of our adult population is overweight, and 35.7% is obese. I want you to think of those numbers. I want you to process those numbers. Childhood obesity has risen from 10% or overweight, 10% to 50% of our kids are overweight, 3% of obesity in 1982 to 17% of obesity today. Okay, when you think of those numbers, what's that mean? What's that mean? When we opened the gym in 1995, the United States spent $180 billion fighting the war on obesity. Okay, think about it, $180 billion. When we moved to our current location in 2006, that number rose to $300 billion, and the projection today, by 2015, the United States will spend $500 billion fighting the war on obesity. Okay, that's why it becomes important to us to educate. It's important to educate, because here's the thing, what's happening? Has our education gone down in 30 years? No, we're more highly educated. We know more, but it comes down to how do we execute? That's the biggest thing. How do we execute a plan? You know, and everyone's like, how many people in this room have been on a diet sometime in their life? Put your hand up. Come on, raise them up. Everyone's been on a diet. Here's my question. I like to do this. I like interaction. Because, bottom line is this. If I sit here and monologue for 30 minutes, you're probably sleeping. So if I get you to talk to me, we'll learn a little bit more. So think about it. What diets have we done? Just go around the room and say, what diet have we done? Weight Watchers. Atkins.
Weight Watchers.
Weight Watchers.
Just cutting down on what I eat.
Just cutting down what I eat.
Atkins.
Atkins. Does everyone know what Atkins is? Okay, it's a ketogenic diet. So we basically cut out all carbohydrates because they're evil. Not really, I'm just kidding. Carbs are not evil.
Cut back.
Cut back. Diabetic diet. Nothing wrong.
Cutting back.
Cutting back.
Atkins.
Atkins.
Weight Watchers.
Weight Watchers. You're too young, don't worry.
Ton of high protein, depends on the
Okay, but stop, think about it. Here's my question. How are they working, guys? How are they working? Diets are 100%, I'm going to tell you this. Diets are 100% successful. Go on a diet, and it's 100% successful. Until you quit. And then it's 100% not successful. That's why we have to change our lifestyle. It's all about lifestyle. It's about making choices. Okay? It's all about making choices. Now, if we stop thinking, well, what choices can I make? How can I do this? Well, how many people today skip breakfast? Ooh, nobody. Matt. You did. Matt skipped because he's like, I forgot to eat breakfast. That's why he was getting kind of dizzy earlier. So we had to make him eat. Okay? Why skip? I mean, think about it. Skipping breakfast. Skipping breakfast. Let's look at what the American public does. Let's just look at this. When's our metabolism highest? Anybody know? In the morning. When's the slowest? At night. How do Americans? Here's how we're supposed to eat. Now we were taught this. I know all everyone in this room. I'll say maybe you. Because you're the young. How old are you? 26. So we were always taught. I was always taught. Eat breakfast like a king. No, he's a baby.
He is a baby.
Eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. What does that mean? It means our metabolism does this. What do we do in America? We skip breakfast, have a little bit of lunch, smack out a big old dinner. Okay, God was so incredibly insightful the way our bodies work. Okay, so He created us. If there's a deficit of food, okay, well, our bodies are going to do what? Well, we're going to try to burn some calories from fat. So when we store fat, okay, then when there's a surplus of food, like in that Pepsi over there. No, we're going to pick on her because her husband's doing her bus. But that Pepsi, that bottle of Pepsi there is 250 calories. 69 grams of sugar. That would be like sitting down and having 17 teaspoons of sugar from the sugar bowl. Wow. Now it tastes good. I'll give you that. That's 250 calories. So that's 250 calories. Okay, now when you're 26, you can get away with that. When you get a little longer in the tooth, it gets a little harder. Okay, so we look at that. So how does America eat? We, instead of eating the way we should, we eat this way. And what's that equal? Think of where these statistics are at. I mean, $500 billion. Guys, do we really need new health care? No. We don't really need new health care. We need to just get healthy. We need healthy. The thing is where do we learn this? Okay, well, in school, what do we get? A semester, maybe. Do we hammer this stuff home? I mean, now at the college level, you don't see it as much, but think at the high school level. What are the programs that we're cutting? Well, we need to have, gotta have music and need to have art. So we gotta cut that PE stuff. Well, guys, are people dying because they don't know who Monet is or Mozart? No, they're not. They're not. Now, I'm not a barbarian. I'm not saying not to be cultured, but I'm saying we need to put emphasis back into health. Okay, our health. It's the one thing that when you run out of it, you're kind of scared. How many people in the hospital? If you've been in the hospital, think about it. How fun was that? It's not very fun. Don't think about it. All the diseases that kill people, for the most part, about 90% of them, we can prevent them by properly exercising and eating. Okay, so if we eat properly, okay, I think Joan hit something on the head right there. That was about being organic. What's organic? What's in our food these days? If we think about it, 60 years ago when we farmed, what did we do? You farmed a plot of land, and the next day you let it lie fallow. Why did it lie fallow? To get more nutrients back in. Well, now we've got to feed more people, so we just farm, and we fertilize. So the foods that we get, their nutrition is nothing like it was of my parents or our grandparents. It's nothing like that. Okay, they got better food. So we start to think, what are we getting now? So we look at those numbers just in 30 years. Look at that. 21% of our adults were overweight in 1982. Now 61%. 61%. That means if there was 10 people in the room, which there are more than 10 people in the room, 6 of us are overweight. Okay? We look at those. Those are the numbers that are getting us. Those are the numbers that are getting us. So I look at when we talk about diets, everyone looks, let's go on a diet. Let's reduce. I'm not saying any of that's bad. We're going to look at what's our lifestyle. What is our lifestyle? Every day, what is our lifestyle? I mean, what are we supposed to do? Anybody know how many fruits and vegetables you should eat in a day? Come on, shoot out there. Joe, you can't answer.
6.
3 to 5. 3 to 5. How many people here have eaten, will eat by the end of the day 3 to 5 fruits and vegetables? Okay. So we're about 50% of the room. About 50% of the room. So why not? Why don't we do that? Why don't we eat the fruit and vegetables? Well, most people, because it's like, man, I don't have time. I don't have time to prepare. Okay, but if you don't prepare, you're going to fail. So how do you prepare? A lot of people are like, well, give me some simple stuff. Well, everyone's got time on the weekend, so let's just take Sunday. And let's just prep some food. Let's just prep it, toss it in the freezer, and now we've got food ready to go. Okay, so let's say most people eat 3 times a day. Say we eat 3 times a day. So we think about that. In the week, that's 15 meals. How do we prep for that? Okay. Hey, Sunday you get a crock pot out, throw in some chicken breast, throw in some vegetables, mix it all up, put it in Tupperware, toss it in the freezer. Okay, is it ideal? No, I like a hot cooked meal 3 times a day. Is that practical? No, because we all work. We all have things to do. We all have kids to run around. How many people have kids to run around? Yeah. Okay, so you throw, how many kids? If you got 3 kids going in 3 different directions, now what do you do? Now what are they eating? So let's come back to those kids. Now what are they eating? Well, let's stop by McDonald's. Let's face it, the Big Mac is good. Right? That's good stuff. It all tastes good. We like it. And so do the kids. So what would you rather have? Chicken wrap or fried chicken nuggets with French fries and a Coke? It's a lot different. When we were kids, I think about when we were kids, okay, that cheeseburger and the fries and the small Coke, that was the meal. Now we supersize our kids. Oh, the big meals. My kids are hungry. Your kid's not hungry, he's freaking bored. He wants something to do. He wants that toy with the extra food. And now what's happening? Now think about it. We go back to these numbers. 1982, the average child played outside 3.5 hours a day. 3.5 hours a day. Let me think about it. Like, Mom grabs us by the ear, yanked us over the door, she whacked us in the booty. Get out and go play. And then when it was time for dinner, she had to come find us and pull us back in the house. Okay, kids today get 30 minutes. Those statistics are from the CDC. So 1982, 3.5 hours. 2006, 30 minutes. Okay, so we come back to this childhood obesity, and guys, where do they learn it? Yes. So if your parents get up and they go work out and they eat right, what are your kids going to do? Hey, if you're slurping down that's the okay, what are your kids going to do? That's what they're going to do. So if we look, I mean, we are the biggest example for our children. We are the biggest example. So I look at this. I mean, people, when we opened the gym, I was 25 years old. I was young, and at 25, you're not real bright. I'll admit it. I thought we were going to go in, we're going to change the world. We'll grab that table, we're going to whip it around. Okay? I haven't beat up too bad. But over the last 18 years in business, I do know one thing. It's one single person at a time. You take one person, you change them. You help them. Other people see them as an example. That example in and of itself will then make changes. And that's why we keep coming back to a lifestyle. So it's like me brought lunch, so that's good. She made some choices. Because how many people have to run and get out of a vending machine? Okay? Or have to stop by a fast food restaurant. Now when you're there, can you make better choices? Almost everybody now has healthy choices. I mean, there are healthy choices out there. So it's just about making those choices. Now guys, you're going to fall off the wagon and eat a pizza. You're going to have a few beers, cocktail, chips, and salt, and salsa, and cheese. Guys, you're going to do that stuff. You can. It's okay. I don't want to change that. I mean, I look at this. When you think about what's the first 3 letters in diet, what's that spell? And lifestyle. What's the first 4 letters? Life. I want you to live. Go have fun. Okay? But think about it. If you party and have a good time one day a week, is that not enough? We have to have dessert every day. We have to have what we want every day. Delay that gratification, okay, and we'll be healthier. And that comes back down to the lifestyles and those choices. So we think back on that. We think, does anybody know how many calories in a pound of fat? Okay, so if I want to lose a pound of fat, it's 3,500 calories. So 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories. Let's see if I still have this on my phone. So if you think 3,500 calories, well, how many are you supposed to eat in a day? Does anybody know? 2,000? Yes, come on guys, interact. Let's play with it here. 1,200, depends if you're active or an athlete. Somebody else. I'm digging up a picture. 1,500. Where are these numbers? Where are we coming up with these numbers at? Back to the nutrition label. Now I'm trying to pull up a picture, so don't scroll through my pictures. There's some vacation pictures. There's stuff of me dancing at Nickelodeon. But I'm trying to find this picture of a pound of fat. So you can just pass this around. This is a picture of 5 pounds of fat and 5 pounds of muscle. So you ask yourself, which one do you want to be carrying? When we look at that, a pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So if we want to burn a pound of fat, what are we going to do? We're going to eat a caloric deficit. Well, we ask, how many calories do we need? Well, it depends on each person, your activity level, okay, how much lean body mass do you have, okay? But if we look at it, a simple way of looking at how many calories do I need in order to start the process, take your current body weight times 12. Your current body weight times 12, and that will give you a decent estimate of where to start. Now, when you start there, is that the end-all be-all? Well, you look at those calories, okay? Now, you look at those calories, and you're like, okay, is that a good number, a bad number? It's a starting number, so you might have to adjust that. Some might need more, some might need less. Again, depending on your activity level. The more active you are, the more calories you burn. Okay, if you go to the gym and you work out, let's say you work out and you go walk, and you just walk at a nice slow pace. Well, that's about 300 calories per hour. Okay, so that's going to, if you take 1,200 calories in, but now you've walked 300, well, you're in a deficit of 300 calories. So you start thinking, how long does it take to lose a pound of fat? It's about 12 days. If you want to be a little bit more aggressive, you can be. You can shave a little bit more calories off of your diet, out of your nutrition, or you can burn more. So you think about that. Okay, so now you've got an idea of how many calories to take in. Well, I try to teach something very simple. Because people are like, don't give me all the science, man, all the science. I just want simple. Well, here's simple. I teach a principle, and I look down, everyone pull your hand out, look at your palm. Look at your palm. I call it the 3 palms because it's really simple. We have 4 meals a day. You go ahead and you get to eat 4. Okay, now I eat a little bit more. Now you can play with these numbers, but you look at the palm. And every meal starts with a palm of protein. So you get protein food that fits about the size of the palm of your hand. Okay, now if you've got really big hands, cool, you can eat more. You've got normal hands. If you stop thinking, you cut my fingers off with my thumb, take my whole palm, what is that? For breakfast, maybe that's about, for me, that's about 6 egg whites. Okay, maybe it's 4 for you. Okay, maybe that's a 6-ounce chicken breast. Okay, but you stop thinking about it, now that's 1 palm. So 4 times a day you eat 1 palm of protein. And I was like, well, why do you hit protein so much? Okay, well, protein, here's everything about protein. Number 1, it's satisfying, so it makes you feel satisfied longer. Number 2, it's the hardest macronutrient to turn into fat. It has a lot of conversion process. Number 3, it has the high thermic effect of food. So when you eat, if you say you eat 100 calories of protein, your body has to burn 10 calories just to digest it. So it's got a little bit more, it's a little more thermic. Okay, and it's the building blocks of muscle. Okay, so if we want to burn more calories, we gotta have more muscle. If we have more muscle, we just burn more calories. Pretty simple there. Now we look at now you got 2 more palms. So every meal, where do those palms come from? Well, we got to have fruit and vegetables. So how many fruits and vegetables today? 3 to 5. So I got 4 meals? So how many fruits and vegetables again? 3 to 5. 3 to 5. So what can I eat for breakfast? What else can I eat for breakfast? Oranges. We can throw an orange in there. So I got an orange. That's a pretty good size orange. On my hand. So I got a protein and I got an orange. Well, what else can I eat? What's healthy? Tell me something healthy. Oatmeal. Okay, well, that's a serving of oatmeal. So think about it. I got 6 ounces. For me, I got 6 egg whites. I got an orange. I got a bowl of oatmeal. I'm pretty covered. Okay, now for lunch, now what do I got? Well, we got a protein. We got to have a fruit. Then we got 1 fruit down. Still got 4 more to go. So now what do we do? Again, that's where you can build on some choices. If you're active, you might need more carbohydrates. You might need some more starch. Guys, if you're sitting at a desk, not moving very much, do you need a baked potato at lunch? No. That might be where you have some more vegetables. Have another piece of fruit. Okay, it's not, here's why. People ask me, well, where do you come up with this? I'm like, well, think about it. I tell people real simple. If God didn't make it, don't eat it. Well, he didn't make cupcakes. We did. Oh, man, they're so tasty. Well, you can build that in. Okay, I'll give you that, build that in. But when you make choices every day, so if you have a lean protein, a natural lean protein, and you have a natural carbohydrate, and you have fruits and vegetables, how can you really go wrong? By the end of the day, how can you really go wrong? You stop to think about that. 4 times, how many calories that come up? Well, it's going to come close to about where you're at. Now again, if you're more active, you're going to need more calories. It's that simple. You're just going to need more. So when people are like, well, how should this break down? Well, I start most people with just a simple, until we understand where they're at. Okay, until I get more input, it's only just simple. Where should the calories come from? I'm pretty simple. 40% protein, 40% carbohydrates, 20% fat. Okay? Now we'll adjust those around for what your needs are. If you have, like you say, if you're active more, then yes, we would probably do more carbohydrates. If you're not as active, if you're not as moving as much, you don't need as much protein. Okay? 20% on fat's pretty good. Now if you don't, because you're diabetic, you might be able to handle a little bit, adjust those. Okay, so you just follow that. Are you pre-diabetic?
No, I've got high blood pressure.
High blood pressure.
That's what I can do.
Okay.
Because you know without the salt,
Okay.
sugars and stuff.
So everyone's got to make a little bit of adjustments there. Any questions so far? Come on, guys. I like interaction. Got to be something brewing up there. We're kicking some sun dust up as you're eating. protein in red meat.
Really love my steak.
Okay? There's studies.
It's actually good for
Protein's got this, red meat's got this bad rep. Well, the thing, here's the thing. Is red meat bad? No. Nothing wrong with red meat. It's the way it's raised. We're in Indiana. What do we feed our cows? Anybody know? Corn. What's their natural food? Grass. Get grass-fed beef. You guys sell some. Go get grass-fed beef. Okay? Here's the thing. When you eat a corn-fed beef, natural beef has a higher omega-3 and conjugated linoleic acid. There are two fats that are needed. So we've talked about essential fats. These are essential. Okay, so if you're getting grass-fed beef, you're getting essential fats, getting the stuff that should be. So if you look at grass-fed beef and salmon, because everyone knows salmon's good, right? So salmon's good. So they're really similar when you have the way it's supposed to be raised. Does anyone know why we feed beef corn? It fattens them up. We can sit in the market fatter and heavier. We can make more money. That's what it's about, right? Oh, wait. No, that's a different subject. That's economics. No. Guys, healthy-wise, grass-fed beef, grass-fed chicken, grass-fed pork. You can have anything, and it's fine. But it's higher in fat. Yeah, it's higher in fat, but it's also a fat that everybody knows what to do with. Okay, because you got omega-3s, you got omega-6s, omega-9s, you got all kinds of crazy stuff in there, but most people don't get enough omega-3s. That's heart healthy. So good stuff. So everyone's like, take fish oil. Take fish oil, eat grass-fed beef. Or salmon. You can eat all those foods. I'd still probably take some fish oil just to be covered. Those are the things you can do. So beef is okay. Come on, guys, shoot the questions. Interact.
What's the big trend with gluten-free? Is that just a trend? Is that just a fad, or is that really an epidemic?
Okay. Third question, what's the big trend with gluten-free? Well, most people in America are most of us, we should take most of us, if we take gluten out of our diet, guess what happens? We lose weight. Why? Because we're whole water. Gluten makes whole water. Milk products make us whole water. I'm not going to sit here and say milk's bad and wheat's bad. I'm not saying that. Okay? But if I generally take someone and I take you dairy-free and wheat-free for a week, and you lose 5 pounds, and we say the same calories, well, there's some reaction there in the body. Now, is it good? Is it bad? I predominantly eat mostly gluten-free. Not that I abstain from wheat. I eat Ezekiel bread. You guys sell Ezekiel bread. So it's an unsprouted, it's as natural as you can get. But whenever we start, and I think it's this, whenever we're making bread, we're mass producing food. Well, when man gets his grubby hands on it, bad things happen. If you get it from nature, where God created it, it's usually pretty good. So if you think oatmeal, rice, are those bad? Well, those are both gluten-free. Is wheat bad? I'm not going to say wheat's bad, and I'm not going to say, but if you go gluten-free, do it for a week, and you lose 3 or 4 pounds, you'll feel better. It's not as much gunk in the digestive tract.
There is a theory about the high-yield wheat that they're growing now. They've been growing it now for like 30 years. And farmers like it because they get more yield, but it's also genetically modified, and it's like the same wheat over and over and over. It's like cloned, so we get no diversity. And over time, people are becoming allergic to it. That's one theory. And then those little villi in your intestines flatten down, and then you become like you can't even
You
get
become
your
full of
nutrition.
food.
Right. Yeah. So that's there's
Hey, I'm just saying, here's the deal. You see the villi in your stomach. Okay, what ends up happening is what we're talking about here is those refined carbohydrates. Because no matter what we do, they are refined to a point. They get kind of mucked up in there. Here's the sick thing. The average American adult is carrying 6 to 10 pounds of undigested food in their digestive tract. So when someone says you're full of shit, you really are. So you start thinking about that. All we do is we cleanse ourselves, and we eat plenty of fiber. Well, that starts cleaning that digestive tract out. But the cleaner you eat, the more natural you eat, the faster you're going to get healthier, feel better. So everyone's heard of AdvoCare. So I've got a lot of people who go, well, I did the AdvoCare 10-day cleanse. And man, I felt so much better. Yeah, because you quit eating dairy, you quit eating wheat, and you cleanse yourself. You lost 8 pounds, you were not just full of crap, and you felt better. Well, most people probably need to cleanse at least 2 times a year. At least 2 times a year. And if you're really full of crap, And you look around the room, all those people with brown eyes, they're really full of crap. They can't let enough out their mouth. Come on, guys, I gotta start making stuff up here because you guys are sponsors. Okay, so the brown eyed people are really full of it. Wait, I got brown eyes. Okay, but the better you eat, the more you get, that you're going kind of your digestive tract. Keep going with questions, guys. Keep going.
Chad, you kind of touched this at the very beginning with like the natural sweeteners, like the Equal and everything else. What's your opinion of like the high fructose corn syrup issue? And you know,
Again, it's about making money. Okay, it is about making money. We're going to put that stuff in there, and what's happening? Okay, it makes us resistant to insulin. Okay, I mean, anything if this has got a high fructose corn syrup, don't eat it. I mean, it's easy. If you pick up a label, and it's got like 14 columns in the label, probably don't. You know why go to a health food store? Because you pick up the label, it's like, rice, salt, water. Okay, I can live with that. Okay, the more natural you can get the food, the better you're going to be. Okay, then you had brought up sweeteners. Well, we talked about aspartame in a Diet Coke. Well, I don't know the percentage of sweetness higher than sugar, but it's significantly higher, so it sends a signal to the brain to desire more sweets. Okay, so when I'm doing myself a favor, I'm drinking Diet Coke. It's got less calories, but then you're kind of, I need a cookie. You know, it kind of sends a different signal. So the thing is what's your body? What's our body made of? Is it how much? What is it? 72% is the number. Think about that. So what should you be drinking?
Water.
Now, I know I shouldn't drink out of styrofoam cups. But it's the only thing I had. I grabbed it before I left the gym. Okay, so I'm drinking water. I drink water all day long. You know, normally it's out of stainless steel, doohickey, or an Nalgene bottle. But I thought it looked kind of weird with this big jug of water. So takes a cup. Guys, keep shooting questions.
What have you eaten today?
Oh, that's a bad thing if you ask me. What have I eaten today? Well, I got up. See, I had to be at the gym at 5:15, so at 4, I got up at 4. At 4:30, I had just a protein shake. Just straight protein, nothing else. And then for breakfast, I had chicken breasts, 6 egg whites, 3 servings of oatmeal, and a piece of fruit. That was for me. But I was going to train, so I knew I was going to burn some calories. So then I trained, had another shake, and I kept shaking and drinking more water.
What's your opinion on Gatorade and those supplements?
Gatorade, the original, or all of the series of Gatorade?
Let's talk. Well, expound. All of them.
When you get into sports nutrition, I mean, athletes are out moving. You know, they're burning a lot of calories. We need to replenish. I think Gatorade, the technology between Gatorade is 40 years old, and I think it's a very antiquated product. It's probably one of the worst products as far as electrolyte content you can drink. There are much better alternatives. When people ask me, like, well, what electrolyte would you do? Pedialyte. Pedialyte is probably the most researched and balanced product that's out there that's readily available to anybody. You can go buy it at any grocery store, at any pharmacy. It's there. Okay. It's got all the electrolytes in it, not just one, not just salt. You're not just depleting salt. Man, we're going to deplete some salt, but you eat all of them. The rest of the products, the pre-workout. You know, Gatorade walked into the market. They see all these sports nutrition people like, they got all this money. How can we do it? Well, when they buy up all the whey protein, they put whey protein in a drink with a bunch of sugar, and they tell you it's great. Guys, I mean, is it good? Is it bad? It's better than not eating anything. You know, you're paying a lot of money for it, a lot of advertising. So I'm not going to say Gatorade's good or bad. It's just it's a product. It's a marketed product. So anything that's marketed, remember, there's some hype in it. There's hype in it. So there are better. I would just say there are better choices, better alternatives. I'm sure you guys probably have 4 or 5 different electrolyte products that you can get that are much better than Gatorade. But again, I mean, why is Coke sold, Pepsi, Gatorade? Why are they highly marketed? If you have the kids and you put up Gatorade, Gatorade symbol, McDonald's symbol, Burger King, they're not going to miss a beat because it's advertised. So, if you said just oatmeal, what's that? Come on, guys, ask questions.
What supplements? I mean, you talk about fish oil and what are some things you recommend? Just because obviously we can't get everything in our daily meals and everything.
If I had a hierarchy of needs, for most people, I'd say number one, a multiple vitamin multivitamin. Okay, guys, it's like going to get in your car without insurance. Anybody here have not have insurance? If you do, I'm gonna wait till you leave, or I'm gonna get out of here quick. Okay, you don't drive without insurance, guys. No matter how good you eat, no matter how organic the food is, if you grow it yourself out in the backyard, you know what? You're missing some nutrients. Take a multiple vitamin, multiple mineral. Find one that fits your budget. Now, there's hierarchy there. You can get a cheap one, or you can get a high dollar one. I'm going to tell you, high dollar is probably better. Okay? I like, you guys got whole food. I prefer a whole food type multivitamin. Okay? If you get the $3 Centrum, well, okay, you got Allstate and you got Geico. You're still insured. Are you getting the best? No. But, you're covering some bases. From there, I'd look, for most people, an essential oil. Fish oil. Don't go with flax, go with fish. High in EPA and DHA. Okay, get the highest amount you can get. Those are the active ingredients. That's what's going to protect your heart, it's going to help your brain. Go with that. And honestly, if you look at it, read the research yourself, you need to take more than what the label says. Now, I've worked in the nutrition industry for decades. I worked in research and development. You have to write a label that's compliant to the FDA. It doesn't mean that it's optimal. Okay? It's not optimal. What it is it's minimal, and it's to comply with label laws. So, when you look at fish oil, how much you take it? Guys, how many people ask me how much fish oil? I take 20 capsules a day. Why? Well, I'm covering my bases. Cardiovascular disease runs in my family. Two of my grandparents both died from heart attacks. The other ones died of cancer, so I did a double whammy. So I'm taking care of it. I'm preemptively striking it now. I'm not old, but I'm not young anymore. So I'm taking care of that now. If I look at that, those are the first two. For most people, a fiber supplement. No one eats enough fiber. How many grams of fiber is supposed to eat? Anybody know? How many grams of fiber?
70.
Well, it's probably 30. 30 is that magic number that the establishment said. Now, do you need more than that? Well, yeah, probably do. Okay? And it's kind of gross, but I'm going to say it because I just say it like it is. If your poop ain't floating, you don't have no fiber. Okay? If you go to the bathroom, you look down at something, you got to get some fiber. You need fiber. Plain and simple. You need fiber. You're kind of like, did you really say that?
I didn't know that. Did you?
Yes. You need more fiber.
But then you got to drink a lot of water.
You should be drinking a lot of water anyways.
Right.
If we come back to water, think about it. Do you know what fuel, what runs fat metabolism and protein metabolism? Water. Anybody here thirsty? If you're already thirsty, you're already slightly dehydrated. If you're slightly dehydrated, stuff's not working. Okay? Now, you think of water, how much do I get? If you go to the bathroom, let's say you should have 3 to 5 clear urinations a day. 3 to 5. Well, how much water is that? I don't know. I don't know if that works out for you. It's about 1.5 gallons for me. Okay? So how much water do you need? Man, if you go to the bathroom and you're peeing golden, you need more water. You got to drink more water. So drink more, maybe fluid. And think of that. If you think of water, it's so easy. Give me a dirty secret. Think about it. What dirty secret of water? Let's say you need 1 gallon a day. Which for most people, that's where you need to build up to. Now, if I told you to drink 1 gallon a day, and you're like, dude, I'm at work. I can't work because I'm peeing all the time. Well, you got to build up to it. You got to build up to it. You're only used to 6. Go to 7. Before long, you'll get to 16. Doesn't take long. And you'll be feeling better. Okay? You'll be feeling better. But if you want a cheap and easy fat burner, take 1 gallon of water, fill it halfway up, toss it in the freezer, freeze it overnight. When you wake up in the morning, pull it back down, fill it back up. Anybody know what's the temperature of frozen water? 32 degrees.
Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit. I'm going Celsius or centigrade or anything crazy. 32 degrees. Okay. Well, think about it. What's our body temp? Okay, so we got to heat that water up, right? If you drink that gallon of water a day, that's 300 calories it takes to burn, to heat that stuff up. So your body needs it. That's a pound of fat in 12 days. You got to drink the water anyways. Freeze that water, drink it, boom. That's a pound of fat in 12 days. Easiest fat burning you can
Drink water when you first wake up.
Oh, yeah.
How many glasses would you drink?
I usually have about 20 20 ounces. About when I first get up. So now I drink about 20 ounces right before I go to bed too. That's my wake up alarm. If I go to bed at 10, I'm up at 4:30. You know why? 'Cause I have to eat. And I honestly, I don't get up. I wake up pretty natural. Most time I'm waking up, my alarms. I can sleep for 2 minutes. But,
Which, how would you go to bed?
I'm not saying live my life. I go to bed about 10 o'clock and I get up about 4:30 in the morning. Okay. Now, I've got kids, so I've got a business, and if I want to work out myself, I got to find somehow to fit it all in and get kids activities and say hi to my wife occasionally. Take dogs out, do laundry, do dishes, all that jazz. So that's kind of Monday through Friday. That's my life. Come on, guys, more questions.
You were talking about 20% fat. You said 40, 20% fat. Like,
Okay,
explain that.
back to macronutrients. So her question is like, I said eat 40% protein, 40% carbohydrates, and 20% fat. Well, if you have 1,000 calories, it means roughly 200 calories of that would come from fat. Where are we going to get it? Well, if you're eating grass-fed beef, you're covering it. Okay, if you're eating properly fed animals, you're covering it. You usually don't have to. Now, I threw extra fish on there. Okay, I find it lubricates the joints quite well. My skin is nice and supple. My hair is awesome. Well, it's getting, I do have a 20-year-old daughter, so it's starting to gray. So, but when you look at that stuff, I mean, it's heart healthy. Okay, it keeps your LDLs down, raise your HDLs, all that good stuff. Okay, keeps your triglycerides down. Okay, so that's where fish oil comes in. So if you're looking at 20% of your calories for fat, well, where's it going to come? If you eat oatmeal, there's some fat in oatmeal, a little bit. If you're eating grass-fed or range-fed beef, if you're eating the right types of foods, you're usually covering that in your nutrition.
So you don't need olive oil on it.
You don't need olive oil on everything, but it would be a great thing to cook with. Okay. Now you got to remember, it's a monounsaturated, so it's not a bad fat, but it would be something you can make dressings with. You can cook with it. You can do some fun stuff with it.